Welcome. In this video, we're talking about search engines. So the objectives here are to use search engines to perform reconnaissance and to provide an overview of two common search engines. So the first one is going to be Shodan, and the second search engine is going to be Google Hacking Database. So Shodan actually is really interesting because what Shodan does is it crawls through the internet and it tries to find everything that's connected to the internet on every single port. Not just what websites are there, but it wants to know every single thing that has a public address. Whether it be a thermostat, whether it be a camera, whether it be whatever, Shodan wants to find it. One thing I will say is Shodan does have a limit of what free searches can find. So register for a free account. That way you can actually interact with Shodan and get some more of the features. Shodan actually has paid version way outside the scope of this video, but I wanted to point out that. So in Shodan, we're going to be looking at two things. We're going to be looking at VNC, and we're going to look at some Google dorking. We have a separate video on dorking, but I wanted to bring up the power of understanding search engines. So first things first, I have Shodan up, shodan.io. We can search for things. I'm going to go ahead and search for VNC. VNC is a pretty popular option, but again, I'm not logged in, so I cannot actually search. All right, I've logged in, so I'm going to try my VNC again. And I actually see search responses. So VNC is an older program used for remote desktops. I'm just going to look at the first 3, 4, 5 resources or responses. So first of all, it's going to be searching for anything that says VNC. And the nice thing is, as I scroll through, it's this address. It does a port scan as well. And we can see on port 3389, this server is running VNC. And it happens to be, it's a Windows Server 2008 R2 machine. Can I interact with it? I can click on it. Well, a VNC does a ton of photos, so we actually can't actually interact with it. But the interesting part is we could probably RDP to this address. Not going to, because again, legality is where we're going. Looking at the names, I don't believe this is within the US. Not just that, since that was my first search, it actually showed that this was part of the Argentina area, so South America. Next one, I can see that they have an endpoint manager on port 135. I can see that they have a web server. I can see specific running features. And I mean, I can try to interact with them if I want to, but again, kind of outside the scope of what I wanted to do with this. Sometimes you'll get no response. That's totally fine. Sometimes you will get actual responses. Here, they tried they'd be clever, and they did 443, and they forwarded it to 4443. And so you can actually try to access certain things. The issue is, Shodan, anything connected to the internet, it will try to pull. So I'm going to ignore these searches for VNC. I'm just going to go to the Explore button. The top explorers are things like default passwords, net cams, cameras, webcams. And so I'm actually just going to go ahead and open up some of these webcams. And the goal is to see if we can actually access some of these webcams. So first of all, when we see things like this address and port 80, you can click on it, it'll try to load. If it doesn't, try actually typing in the port. Let's try port 8080. Sometimes you get no response. That's acceptable, which is totally fine. What about 8181? All right, not producing any results. Not a big deal. Here we have a improper SSO. Doesn't yield any results. That's totally acceptable. So I'm going to go back to Explore, and I'm going to go ahead and open up cams with the default usernames and passwords. So the first one, again, I'm probably just going to try to connect to, does it have 8080? No, it does not. DNS. Here they actually found a network camera, so I'm going to try to connect to that. So some of them may not even work. The issue is sometimes they will work. And actually I'm going to show how we can use things like Google to actually do this. So just like with Shodan, you can start filtering commands based off whatever you want. So I did just Untitled quotes webcam XP space 5 quotes, and that's going to pull up any webcam XP5. So I'm actually just going to go ahead and open a few of these. Some of them may try opening up a SFF file, a flash file. I'm going to ignore those. Some of them will pull up straight DVRs. So this is probably some hotel at some location live streaming this on the internet without a username or password. You can do the same type of filtering as Shodan, but I wanted to do this through Google. Here we have a webcam and it's night, and I don't know if this is a person's home. So this is today's date. This is the current time. Alright, so this one, no login required, but it's night, so I really can't do a whole lot. This is someone's house. They have 2 cameras. And again, part of this kind of sucks, especially at night. I was actually looking at this one during the day, and this was someone's front door. This is actually appearing at someone's window, and all of them happens to be the same type of input at the same location. Sadly, they've disabled the ability to pan and tilt the cameras, but again, these are live streaming cameras that we were able to gain access to without. So this is the camera that actually wants us to look up our SWF. You know what? That's fine. Oh, I don't have Java installed, so no, I can't. I'll ignore that one. So you can do a lot with just simple searches. And you can manipulate the search. So I did just XP5. I can get rid of XP5 and just put XP, and I can see what other webcams that are out there. Though XP5 is a little bit easier. You can also do 7, but here I found a camera that did just still images. So this one took still images throughout the day, and this was actually a business. This is the camera during business hours, and when I looked at it this morning, you could actually see people walking back and forth. This one takes a still image every few seconds. Sometimes the access to the camera is not there, so it's whatever. Sometimes the access to the camera is garbage. But again, this is just an overview of what you can do with just basic searching. So questions or anything, definitely please feel free to reach out. Thank you.